What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts with power, JesseKazam.
And I have to announce that they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people who live there. Dude, I can't help but she's just a meme, dude. I keep walking around my house, going to my wife, going, "They're eating the dogs."
They're eating the dogs.
That's my new favorite. Do you know how many songs have come from that are like actual incredible banger songs?
Really, like meme bangers?
Oh yeah, no, like barely even meme worthy.
Well, that's what I was about to say. There's got to be at this point in the year of our Lord 2024, like such a tremendous amount of genuinely like studio quality songs written entirely because of silly memes. And that's just a beautiful thing. Somebody needs to make a Spotify playlist of them all, of all the songs that just came out of memes.
Oh god. I hit the button.
You hit the button.
I hit the wrong button.
Oh god.
Dude, I completely agree. Like real quick, just listen. I'm not even gonna play more than like 2 seconds of it.
Okay.
But just listen to how like actually good this song is.
The bangerification.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Oh,
This is what's happening in our country.
That's so much funkier than I thought it would be. Oh!
Dude, just imagine like it's like
so much funkier than I thought it would be.
Dude, it's so good. Yeah, there's so many memes.
That's what I'm seeing. We need like that because you got some funk. You got there's dubstep, you know, of everything. You got to get the Alex Jones folk band. That we got to get it all in a playlist. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, bro! Speaking of Alex Jones, the Flurfs have finally responded
to Alex Jones calling them crazy.
No. To me.
Oh.
I get a message from this one guy. Remember how I like gone on to one of their like streams just to like
he was like, let's have a conversation, and then it ended up being exactly what you would expect it to be.
Yeah, it was just kind of a nonsense waste of time. I randomly get a message saying, "Hi man, in case you missed it," with a link to a video called "Why So Obsessed with the Flat Earth Documentary." So he kept saying how my video wasn't a documentary and he was going to make a real documentary.
Yeah.
And it's an hour-long video that is just him doing a voiceover, full left like one ear audio, and just interviewing.
When will he learn?
A bunch of brain dead schmucks about like, so you get made fun of for believing the earth is flat. And basically saying how, why would you go and make a video about an opposing view if you weren't obsessed? And it's like, the irony of making an hour-long video.
Yeah. Dude, it's you can lead a horse to water. You know what I mean?
And then the two biggest flat earthers, the guy Jaren, who was the one that did that whole like he debunked flat Earth with the laser tests.
Yeah.
Him and Witsit.
Yep.
The worst of the worst. Yep. They both reacted to it, which they went to like 3 points, watched about 10 seconds of it.
Oh, of yours.
Of my video, my 8-hour video.
Classic.
Reacted to that. This was like a few days ago, maybe last week, and watched like 10 or 15 seconds of it, you know, and like the format is usually like, I'm going to make a claim and then now I'm going to explain it.
Yes.
And what would happen is I would make the claim, I would begin to explain it, they'd pause it, say, how can he make this claim without explaining it? And then proceed to misunderstand what my claim was, and then proceed to prove me right.
Anyway,
one of the things was quote mining. I called him out for quote mining Einstein and a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
And they went on and on and on about how he doesn't understand quote mining. He doesn't give a definition for quote mining. He doesn't blah, 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 all of this stuff. And then he lists off a bunch of quotes, at least 2 of which were blatant quote mines.
Nice.
Like one of the links, and of course they didn't watch the video because like 2 minutes later, I give the exact example of the quote that he then quotes unironically, where it's like,
yes.
the conclusion, blah, blah, blah. And then we know that the earth moves. And period, where the actual quote is the earth moves through the ether, the latter being stationary. And he just says the earth, period. And it's like, you change the entire meaning of the sentence.
Yep.
But they're like, quote mining is taking something out of context and using a quote where, the blah, blah. It's like, I mean.
Yep. I mean.
But so it was just like. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it to a certain point, it's disappointing, you know what I mean? And it's frustrating to see, but it's almost, I feel like for you spent so much time in that community full circle to it's like anytime any of them touch it, they just prove everything in it right. Like so blatantly, you know what I mean? So blatantly, which is and sweet in its own right, I guess.
Yeah. And their ultimate conclusion was that someone made it for me.
Well, how could you? How could you make it on your own?
It had to have been MC Toon because he's in it so much. There's so many clips.
Yeah,
it had to have been him. How? Otherwise, quote, where could he have gotten all this footage? How did he collect all this footage? I mean, it's almost like I explain it all.
Yep. It's almost like I live streamed attaining the footage every day for 6 months, which is just like. Oh, crazy. Crazy. It's I mean, we've talked about this many times, so I don't want to go into it deeply, but like how suspicious we are now of everything which part of that is super justified, right? Like we now live in a world where like you can't really trust what you see because anything can be photoshopped. You can't really trust what
AI generated.
Yeah, videos even now can be crazy. So it's like, I'm not saying that this suspicion is wholly wrong, right? We've talked a lot about skepticism, which is kind of largely suspicion of claims being made. But it's funny to see that leak so deeply into like hard work is suspicious because I'm lazy. Ooh, that's a bar right there. Right? Because like all they do is like as shallow level, research and stuff as possible, that you literally live streaming it, showing this to hundreds and hundreds, potentially thousands of people, your progress over getting input from them, us talking about it on a podcast that's live. We have like every episode up on YouTube, just simple hard work, provable. Just like LeBron James is in the gym every single day when he's a kid. He shows up to college or whatever and he's good. And it's just like, whoa. That guy's really good. Maybe a little too good. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a lot of work. Maybe a little too much work for someone to have done. And it's just crazy that mentality can, if you're lazy, just hard work can seem suspicious.
Yeah, it was so weird how they fixated on like, why would he's never made any videos like this before. Why would he do that?
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Yes. Which is once again such a fascinating thing because like I feel like in any other period in time, deciding to learn a new skill or learn a thing or apply your talents to a certain thing in a new field, really immerse yourself in it. Like these are all very decidedly good things. But it's like at some point you would have to have been your first video on it, and if your first video is going to be criticized for being, well, he never made, like, you know what I mean? It's just the logic is obviously shallow, almost by design, so it's not worth like picking it apart. But it's an interesting. It's weird, man. Everything is suspicious. We see that in Tarkov right now. You know what I mean? It's like. Nobody's ever hit a good shot before. Like everyone's mediocre. Because if you're above mediocre, it's like, oh, that guy hit that shot a little too quick. He's probably sus. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, come on. Sometimes we hit nasty shots. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. But it's wild.
Dude, speaking of sus, we just came back from TwitchCon. We can talk a little bit about TwitchCon, but what I have to say is I'm surprised I made it back and without being arrested.
Oh no, what?
So it occurred to me when I was on my way back. I was waiting because I got to the airport like 8 hours early.
Okay.
I don't know. Did you sign into the Wi-Fi at San Diego Airport at all?
I don't think at San Diego. I think I did at Dallas Fort Worth.
They had like the captive Wi-Fi thing that popped up where it's like you had to type your first name, your last name, and your email.
Yep.
And like the first time I did it, I actually put my fucking name, right? But then like it like renewed every 2 hours and I was sick of doing it. So then I just started mashing the buttons.
Yep.
And I mashed the buttons, literally just doing this on the keyboard. Okay. Hit go. While the page is loading, I look down and you want to know what my random mashing of buttons was?
What?
ISIS. First name, ISIS. Last name, ISIS at ISIS.com. I literally accidentally typed ISIS, dude. and I hit go and it's spinning and I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. Like, I'm fucked. Like,
V
literally
just cracks the phone in half, throws it away.
I'm like, well, I guess,
Dude.
like call my wife, get the go bag.
What?
Like, bro,
What the hell?
I hit go and then I looked up expecting to see someone running towards me.
Mm-hmm. A bunch of people that were like pretend passengers just like get up and start walking your direction.
Oh my God, a bunch of fucking Agent Johnsons.
Yeah, dude.
I can't believe it.
The hell?
Why would they make it so that it was come
Dude,
on, like
that's wild. How on edge were you from that moment on until you got on the plane?
Honestly, I was like, after I did it, I'm like, this is gonna be a funny story.
Yeah.
Because like, what's the worst that can happen? They take me to the back room, fucking interrogate me, and I tell them the story of like, bro, honestly, I was sick of filling out the information. If you just do this on the keyboard, it's really easy to just, like. I wasn't worried about anything actually coming from it.
Yeah.
But it was just a momentary like,
That's wild. That's funny.
Now, you know what? It's actually a little concerning that nothing came from it. Actually. Like if I was like...
actually, now that I think about it, I'm kind of mad nobody came and interrogated me.
If my first name is like, I'm going to do a bad thing on the flight, then, that like, maybe they should track, not that they would have the ability to know which phone. It's not like, it's...
I mean, wouldn't they? I don't know.
No
I watch all the spy shows and I'm like, they could totally...
They might have like a MAC address for a phone or something, but they wouldn't know that it was me versus someone 27 terminals away.
Gotcha.
Right? It's just connecting to a fucking wireless access point.
Every time I go through security now, I get the pat down. I don't know why. It happened when I went to Seattle. It was the first time ever in my whole flying career that they were like, "Hey, the little thing went off." And they always say they'll say it's in a sensitive area, and then I have to touch there. I have to do this. I have to take my hands. And I have to do this. And it happened in Seattle, and I was like, "Okay, that's weird." That's the first time that's happened. And then hopped on the plane towards TwitchCon. It happened again. And I was like, what's happening? So I've just been getting patted down like crazy in these airports, man.
What the fuck? I literally never happened to me once.
Yeah.
Ever once.
It never happened to me before. And then twice in a row, which is crazy. Yeah. I'll be looking sus, I guess. I don't know.
Did you see the clip I posted in our little group chat? Because someone, I think it was what Valian said that he got patted down too.
Yeah.
From Spinal Tap, where he's going to. I don't think you've actually seen Spinal Tap.
No, but I know what it is now.
Yeah, the kind of documentary, the fake 70s, 80s like rock music thing where the guy he goes to the metal detector, they're like waving him down, and they're like, are you wearing any like jewelry? Do you have any like implants, whatever? And they wave the wand, and after a while, basically he reaches into his pants and pulls out like a big ass fucking zucchini that's like wrapped in tinfoil that he just shoved in there, for like the tight leather pants bulge.
Yep.
Yeah, classic scene.
Classic. Yeah. But TwitchCon was good. TwitchCon was fun, man. It was it's always phenomenal to be able to just like hang with the homies. You know what I mean? The con itself was like whatever. It's just nice being able to meet friends, homies, people that watch the stream, people whose stream I watch, you know what I mean? Like that's the whole deal. It was good times.
Yeah, agreed, dude. So many people. I've never had a bad interaction.
Never.
Except with Nikita. But that's all resolved. Fuck. That's a long story. Actually, maybe we can talk a little bit about that because it's not really a big deal, but we can talk about that after.
That was funny.
But yeah, I never had a bad interaction with anybody.
Yeah.
It's like because people behind the keyboards are not the same as people in person.
For sure.
Like when people in person, people can't help but be like human most of the time.
Yep.
But
well, and also in person, people behave in the way I wish they were when they were online, which is that like if somebody at TwitchCon sees me and they're like, "Oh, I don't like that guy's stream," they never come up to me and say it, which is fine. Like I don't care if you don't like your stream. We can both just do our own thing. You know what I mean? So it's like I have such good interactions when I go places to meet homies that I'm not deluded to think that every single human being I saw that locked eyes with me likes my stream and they're just faking it. Like, I just believe if somebody at TwitchCon in the Tarkov community saw me and was like, ugh, they just didn't come up and say anything to me, which is like, you can just do that online too. Crazy.
Every random Twitch chatter is like the guy from the scene from, was it like Mos Eisley in the cantina, Star Wars episode 4, I think, where he's like, I don't like his face or whatever the fuck. That guy, you know who I'm talking about, the weird like pig face. It's that guy where it's just like, he just comes out of nowhere to like start shit.
That's Twitch. No, but so it was a good time. I competed, if you can call it that, in the arena tournament.
You participated?
I participated. Dude, I don't even know if you could call it that, bro. We got slammed. It was hilarious. I showed up to the arena tournament. They ushered me on stage and then almost just as quickly off stage. We got slammed. The new map looks really cool I just spent the entire tournament running around going, where's A? Where's A?
Yeah, Valve did a really good job with that map.
Dude, yeah, it looks a lot like I don't know, what is it, Cobblestone or Mirage was what a lot of people were saying. I've never played CS, so
it looks like a cobbled version of a lot of similar like maps, like Mediterranean.
Yeah. Which I'm down with. I think it's sick. I think it is taking the obviously inspiration from games that do like the Blast Gang game modes really well, and also it's just nice to see a different visual aesthetic in Tarkov, you know what I mean? So it was kind of cool. But it was fun, man. Everyone on the tournament that we played, like they were all sick. And they're really good and they were like practicing and we didn't. And I showed up, my mouse DPI was at like 4 million, bro. Every single possible keybind was on the wrong thing. Like I hold to sprint, but sprint was on toggle, but I toggled crouch and crouch was on continuous, like, you know what I mean? And we had like 60 seconds. We had 5 minutes to go through keybinds. We also shared that 5 minutes with 5 minutes to create all the presets we wanted to run in the rounds, right? So it was like everybody wanted to make more than one preset because if 3 people made assault presets, well, you can only have 2 people play assault. So everyone tried to make like an assault and a scout or a marksman and a scout or whatever. And so we just had like no time to prepare or anything. Not that would have changed anything. Those guys know what they're doing. They play as a team. They play together a lot. We were just like a bunch of goofballs, you know what I mean? But
like they had the same, I'm sure, set of issues where they had to scramble to do all that stuff. But like you had said, you know, they had everything going for them in that they're younger, better. They also practiced on the map.
They were going to smash us either way. But
the moment I knew that you guys were playing, I played a bunch with Oberst Tom.
That was the guy's team that we played. Yeah, he was awesome.
And I was telling you guys, like, I forget, it was either that, was it like the night before? Did you guys know? Or
yes, he showed up at that bar the night before.
And I was like, yeah, you guys are you're probably gonna get smoked.
Dude.
And who was it? Was it Velian or was it Jay? Who was it that was like, man, now like now I kind of want to.
Yeah, yeah.
He was like, we were gonna have fun and whatever. But then once I heard that these guys were sweaty, it's like, all right, well, then
I'm gonna try
like,
hard. And it was like, dude, I didn't get a kill till the 8th round. We won one round. It went 1-9. What was crazy though is that we weren't even close to the like we went 1-9 and we were just glad we didn't get swept. But then the next match, which was 2 more teams, one team got swept. Like I think Gino and Fudge's team swept someone. And then the next day when they played again, I think they got swept or something. There were a lot of 9-0s in this tournament and we weren't one of them. So
interesting. Now the question is that like, does that say something about something?
I don't know. That's what. And then later when we were talking to some of the BSG guys, we were like, how's the tournament going? And they were like, a lot of 9-0s. We were like, yeah.
Yeah, if it was an economy, maybe. But
yeah,
like,
exactly. It's hard to
guys...
even. You can't really like the only thing you could maybe put it on is that attacking or defending has an advantage, and like
no. How many rounds is it? Like 4 rounds, and then you switch?
Normally, I think it's like 4 or 5 rounds. I don't think you swapped until the 8th round, so you could go 0-8 and then swap. It was crazy, yeah.
Oh,
every round past the 5th round, we were like, okay, it's going to swap, and then it didn't. And then the 6th round was going to swap, and then it didn't. And then it's going to swap, and then it didn't. And we were like, what? So
wait, that's so.
It was a lot. It was a lot of rounds.
That's it. I mean, to me seems like a giga oversight.
Yeah. So, but we were going to suck no matter what. So I couldn't tell you which one has the advantage, attacking or defending.
I wonder if it was the same for each, right? Like, honestly, I'd be willing to bet you that it would be. Someone said it's T-sided. I would have assumed if I had to guess that it was CT-sided.
I don't know what that means. T versus
so
CT.
There's T. So yeah. So CS:GO there's CT, which is counter terrorists, and T, which is terrorists. So it's basically attack. So CT is defender, T is attacker. So like, what were you guys? Were you guys attacking or defending?
We were defending, but we were once again. Now, it wouldn't have mattered.
Now the question is, how many rounds? You probably won't remember, but how many rounds did they like plant the bomb versus did they just kill you?
Oh, maybe 0. I actually think we just died every round.
Yeah, so maybe it would have been irrelevant.
Yeah, once again, I wasn't watching when the better teams were playing and those guys were getting swept. I wasn't watching to like actually see, oh, it does seem like attacking is really hard on this map or defending is really hard on this map. We were just getting nuked either way. You know what I mean? So it was, but yeah, the last like match though, the final 2 teams, once it swapped to the finals, it was best of 3. That was the other thing. It was best of 1. So we lost and we were out. When they're like no losers bracket, best of 1. At the very end, it was best of 3. And the very last 2 teams that went is exactly what you want in a tournament. It went 1-1. And then so now it was the final match. And it was like they had 8 rounds and the other team had 4. The team with 4 caught all the way up to 8. And then the other team that was originally in the lead did end up winning. It was like everything you wanted out of a tourney. No one got at the very last round. It was like super clutch, super clean, really fun to watch. But yeah, getting there was kind of wild.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun to watch. I didn't even bother like even remotely considering playing at all. Yeah, but TwitchCon to me, like TwitchCon is going the way of PAX, which
okay.
It's like, it seems to me to be Twitch wants to sell booth space to all of these brands that want to have a bunch of affiliate streamers be their affiliate marketers. Like they want to hire a bunch of free salesmen.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what it is. It's just a bunch of brands that all want to not sponsor people.
Was a lot of like, there wasn't a lot of like booths that were about games. There were like 3 or 4 good ones. And there weren't a lot of booths, about like, I don't know. There was just a lot of, Exactly that. And then there was like the Chevron gas station booth in the middle. They were like a title sponsor of the thing. The freaking goodie bag you get when you show up to TwitchCon and you sign and you get your badge, the goodie bag you get had a pamphlet, Xbox like silicone caps, and acne cream. Those were the 3 things in the bag.
And that was probably more like targeted marketing than any of the booths.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it was, I don't know.
I basically didn't talk to any of the brands or anything.
No.
I was hoping that like the chess.com booth was there just because it's like there's chessboard set
That's
up.
been
and
there
it's
in
like,
the past, right?
It's been there the last couple times. So that was a little disappointing that they weren't there. I didn't talk to fucking anyone. I just walked around until I recognized someone or someone recognized me. And then every now and then the last couple of days when the Tarkov, like, because BSG was there, they didn't have a booth.
Yeah.
They were kind of just congregating in like the LAN area where the event was going on. So that was kind of like a little bit of a home base for those last couple of days. But overall, it's just, it's kind of disappointing, but
Yep. Yeah, for sure. So day 1 was like nothing because BSG didn't have a booth and the tournament didn't start till the next day. So now I will say like San Diego was a really fun place to have it because we just spent the entire time walking around the Gaslamp district, going from place to place, just going to some bars, getting good food down there. So like that was nice that everything was more walkable, but there wasn't a whole lot of activity to do at the con. And so, the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, when there was the tournament and BSG kind of had the LAN booth, it just, like you said, just kind of more acted as a home base for like people we knew that were going to be there. I walked around the convention center like once Friday and I was like, all right. So I think like if you're ever going to come, the day pass, like the 1 day pass, like Saturday is probably the play, you know what I mean? And then just hang out afterwards. Like even if you wanted to come for all 3 days, get like Saturday at TwitchCon, and then most people are just gonna be hanging out before, during, and after outside the convention anyway.
Yeah, it seems like most of the like networking kind of things, a lot of times back a few years back, there used to be a little bit more networking that you could do at the booths, but now it seems like most of that stuff is off campus, right? It's like like that thing that we did that night.
There's like parties.
Like, when Sequisha was there. I don't even remember the name of the game.
Dune Awakening.
Yeah.
It did feel like that. Most of it was like big companies or big games or big whatevers were just throwing parties after. And like that was where you could network with a lot of people more so than at the con itself. But I don't know. At the end of the day, though, it was fun. It's always, in my opinion, always worth going because it's like the double whammy of I get a break, I just disconnect from like the stream for a while. And, we had the Airbnb full of homies. It was great hanging out with Frankie. It's always great to meet people that are like, dude, I love the podcast. I love the stream. Like you've said, never had a bad interaction. Phenomenal. So worth it, you know what I mean, for me and for us to go. But yeah, like it was a little lackluster in terms of what was actually there.
Yeah, I think I had just as many people recognize me, or at least maybe not recognize me, but like commend me, I suppose, on my either like Billy Mitchell video or the Flat Earth video or the fucking Chandler Alderson
which
documentary.
Which is so sick. I was there for a few of those and I was like,
which just makes me just like, thank God. Like I'm
you're not just a Tarkov guy.
Yeah, I really do feel as if I'm like have almost fully moved on in a way. In
a great way. Your best content has been your most recent content. So onwards and upwards.
Which is why when Nikita said confused me. But we chatted a little bit. So just a little bit of context, because it's not like it was like a private convo. There was like 10 people standing around in a circle.
Yeah.
He kind of like, I don't know how to like categorize it, but he basically called me out, gave me shit for, the way I would describe it is effectively saying that everyone at BSG, they all suck, they're shitty, they don't know what they're doing, and it would be so easy to fix their game.
Yeah.
which, to be fair, I have been like, I have said at times, like,
yeah,
they have no idea what they're doing, you know, but it was weird, okay, because I haven't played Tarkov.
Yeah.
Other than I think that one time for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
For over a year.
Yep.
I haven't really talked about Tarkov. I'm usually just responding to what you say.
Yeah.
On the podcast. So I'm trying to figure out, like, did someone just feed him a montage of clips of me, like, you know, whatever. Now I was able to talk to him after the fact, and it seemed
nice.
like he clarified. I still don't know. He basically said what he was talking about was a tweet, apparently a tweet that I said fuck a lot in, and basically said that, you know, like, they don't know what they're doing and it would be easy to fix.
Was it the found and raid thing or something?
I don't know, because maybe, I don't know. I went back like before January, and I couldn't find the one they were talking about. I might have missed it, but like, I want to make a few things kind of clear, sort of for the record, because obviously, like, we've talked about the Tarkov for what, hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
We've talked about Tarkov, ignoring all of my videos. And sometimes our takes are more reasonable and level-headed and measured, right? Than other times where sometimes we're like, these guys are fucking completely incompetent, you know,
I've
blah,
said
blah, blah,
it many
whatever.
times, yeah.
And I think I had even said to you, or maybe either you were there or I don't know, but I recall, like, almost surely that morning having a conversation, maybe in a group, talking about how it's like, you know, it's so funny, we like talk shit about the game and whatever, but the moment you the moment you meet the devs, you like instantly feel bad, because you're like, oh, they're just dudes, right?
Yeah, they're just dudes. 100%.
And then all of a sudden Nikita blows up my spot, like, right away. I walk over, I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, hey man, what the fuck? And I'm like, whoa, like,
yeah.
I'm like, whoa, like, out of nowhere, because I haven't talked about it, I haven't really tweeted about it. But yeah, so I want to make it clear that, like, I feel as if the vast majority of things that I'm critical of with the game, I don't think are easy fixes. Technically, like, the sound is a massive. The complexity with the sound, I think, is largely self-created. But it's a rat's nest. It's a mess. I wouldn't want to be trying to work on that now. You know. The netcode is incredibly challenging to handle. The cheaters is like an impossible technical challenge. Usually when I'm saying, like, stuff is easy or trivial or, like, it should take a day or two, whenever I've said that, I'm really careful.
Yeah.
It's usually been something like the quick sell feature.
Yeah, like a quality of life feature.
It's a pop-up. It's a single menu with some buttons you've already made. You know, like,
or
that's
the
found
and
kind of
raid thing, where it's like doing it a different way would be trivial, but would have a big impact.
Yeah, and see, like, something like that, even, like, to be clear, how trivial it would be, it comes down to how elegantly you design it.
Yeah.
Some of these things might be time-consuming, but trivial in terms of complexity. Some of them might be complex, but, you know, maybe easier if it's like something, you know, again. So these things are complicated. I don't want to trivialize every problem with Tarkov as something that's like an easy fix or whatever. There are plenty of things that, and he also conceded the point that it's like, yeah, but at the same time, there are things that have been in the game for 5 years that are unforgivable that they haven't been fixed. Yeah. So, and even if I'm being hyperbolic saying it shouldn't take this long to fix, even if I'm off by an order of magnitude, so it would be 10 days, 100 days. Yeah. 1,000 days is still half
3 years.
The time.
Yeah, half the time. Yeah.
So
no, yeah. So, I think it's I mean, we talked about it a little bit. I think it gets to the point where we've talked about this game so much that we've said
I don't even know what I've said.
Exactly. Well, it's like we've said before, BSG's incompetent, and like this is so easy to fix. And and it's probably just so easy to like jumble up talking about that and then us talking about the sound or the netcode or the cheaters, when 99 times out of 100 what we're talking about is like a bug, a simple bug where when I click this my game crashes, and that was in the game for 6 months, and it's like, oh my god, fix this. You know what I mean? It's like stuff like that. But we've just talked about the game so much, I genuinely bet that it's just like a few clips got thrown in amongst a bunch of other clips, and they've probably been, you know, a little bit more sensitive to it since the Unheard edition and stuff like that. But yeah,
I didn't get a chance to touch base with Nikita at the con because he was busy. I didn't want to bother him, so we ended up talking in DMs. And when he clarified that he was referring to one tweet, which I don't think you would have gotten. I don't know. I didn't get that impression. No. It sounded like he was referring to like. Honestly, it sounded like he was confusing me for someone else.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That tracks with what I just said, where like he probably just sees a stream of criticism on his Twitter feed or whatever, and if he sees your name pop up and then goes to sleep and wakes up and then sees you a month later, it's probably hard to separate. He
puts me in the bucket of people who are constantly
exactly. It was
complaining.
just a bunch of people said some really messed up stuff, and maybe that felt like you said some of that, but maybe you didn't or whatever. Like, yeah,
but basically, you know, I wrote him a little kind of thing that I was like, listen, I feel compelled to defend myself here because I feel as if I've invested a lot of time into trying to be an empathetic middleman between the developers and the community, explaining the challenges of the development process, trying to explain Nikita's vision and what he wants, and understanding that to the community and vice versa. Yeah. Some of my best videos have been exactly that, right? Yeah. The history of Tarkov is a lot about the vision of the game. Yeah. All of the interviews we did with Nikita have been like that. The whole Tarkov is going in the right direction was all about that. The whole Tarkov sound thing was all about getting people to understand all of these things, right? And you know, I've made 2 videos within the last year, and they were both like, here's 30 improvements that could be made to Arena. Let's like constructive criticism with valuable feedback, right? So it's like, I feel like I provide value. I don't just because another one of the things he had brought up was some clickbait stuff here and there, but then he also mentioned like, and he was talking to me, probably using like the royal you, but he was like, and then you go, you know, you shit on the game, and then you go and take sponsored streams for ABI and whatever. It's like, brother, you're talking to the wrong person. If like, I'm probably the only person in the circle that hasn't played the game, that hasn't done any sponsored streams like that. So it's like, out of everyone, don't point at me.
It just feels like there's a well of frustration, and he was just pulling from it. Yeah,
basically. So at the end, I was just like, listen, the sense I got from you is that like you were putting me in the same bucket as like effectively like Aroctic, right? Like that kind of like drama, controversy, you know, like whatever, on the bad side with the devs, you know, kind of like the fucking wanting to be like Batman of the community or whatever. And I'm like, that's not what I'm going for. I've never done anything for money, never done anything for clicks. Yeah. I've always been honest. I've always tried to be. I've mauled it a few times on the podcast and maybe on Twitter,
of course.
But all of my content has always been thoughtful and you know, honest. And everything I've done has been at my own expense. When it comes to like, I'm not chasing trends. I'm doing what I think is right at any given time. You know. And it was really good because he basically said, no, it was not that. That wasn't intended for sure. If it sounded like this, then I'm sorry. I was really actually glad to meet you.
Oh, good. Hell yeah.
It's like, so was I, man.
Yeah,
and, you know, when I come up and I'm like, what's up, Nikita? He's like, fuck, man. And I'm like, whoa. You know,
no. Yeah, that's. So once again, that kind of even more so confirms that, it was probably less directed at you than it felt in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So overall, I just wanted to set the record straight because so that everyone listening here doesn't get even the impression from anything I may or may not have said in the past that like none of the none of the problems are like trivial, simple solutions. There are lots of things they could do that are significantly easier than other things.
Yeah.
But a lot of it ultimately comes down to design decisions and priorities and preferences. And that's like that's more significant than the technical difficulty of any of the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you have to agree that, let's say agree that found in rate is an issue, and you'd have to agree that you'd want to change it in such and such a way. And then there's 27 ways to implement that kind of fix from there, right?
Yep.
So
for sure.
But
for sure. Well, I'm glad it ended on good terms. You're able to talk with him a little bit, but yeah, he was definitely making the rounds at TwitchCon for sure. Now, speaking of Tarkov, there was a pretty big patch that came recently. But before we hop into that, I do want to take a quick second and thank the first sponsor of today's episode, and that is MeUndies. I'm wearing mine right now. Being your most confident and comfortable self starts from the waist down. Whether you're gearing up for a weekend spent on the couch watching endless hours of football, comfort is king. Dude, this fall, MeUndies, bro, I've been wearing. They're my new favorite underwear. I have like 3 or 4 pairs now. They're unbelievably comfortable, like genuinely. We've talked about it before. I just didn't realize. I've just like Walmart, literally whatever the cheapest thing is my whole life. I didn't realize underwear could like actually be this comfortable. These things are insane.
Yeah, comfortable, durable, like super high quality.
Mm-hmm.
I now stand for the ball caddy.
Oh, yeah, you said that last time.
Dude, I'm telling you,
stand
man,
for the ball caddy.
There's something to be said about, especially because I sit like a child. I'm like,
you
always
do, bro.
You're and, like whatever, that's just how I roll.
Yep.
On the plane, it was clutch, not because every now and then you pinch a nut by accident, and it happens. Honestly, so this is like a safety. It's like a seatbelt for your
most
testicles.
prized possessions. Yeah, 100%. MeUndies has a cut for every guy's butt. Over 10 different styles, ranging from boxer brief to jock straps to the ball caddy. There's over 100 different colors and prints. Their prints are insane. We talked last time about how
so good.
Like this is the new renaissance where it used to be the crazy socks. You know what I mean? Under like if you were wearing slacks and it was like, ooh, dude, MeUndies has you covered. There's also a ton of other stuff. They've got joggers, they've got shirts, they've got hoodies, they've got a bunch of other. And once again, really well made. It's like unbelievably comfortable, unbelievably warm, like the joggers and stuff like that. So it's great. They're responsibly sourced using sustainably sourced materials and work with partners that care for their workers. And if you are not happy with your first pair of MeUndies, it is on them. So you can be your most comfortable selves this fall with MeUndies. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Pogcast. That is MeUndies.com/Pogcast for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in. W. The ball caddy for the win. Indeed. But yeah, so we got back. I think while we were gone, they pushed an update to Arena. They didn't add the new map, but they did some stuff. But not long after we got back, there was a new patch, 15.2, which was not on the roadmap. Actually, I forgot we didn't talk about that because while we were at TwitchCon as well, they released a new roadmap, which maybe we'll talk about later if we have time. But this wasn't on the roadmap, but it was 15.2, and it was going to come with a bunch of stuff. Dude, the launch of it though was very Battle State Games, dude. So they tweeted that the game was gonna be down for 5 hours, meaning it was supposed to come up at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And so I went live and I was like chilling, we were vibing, and at like 8:30 the game came up. Update was there, downloaded it, launched the game, no problem, hopped into a raid, like let's see what's new in the patch. And then it began. And then like chat was going crazy. They were like, I'm getting an error, getting errors. And then it started again, bro. My account is wiped. I have no account. I'm picking my name. I'm picking my character. My account is wiped. Which, do you remember earlier in like early August, late July, that happened where a bunch of people's accounts got wiped and they just like sent them a bunch of money and gear. So it happened again, dude. So the patch was, and then you know what was crazy? I was like one of the only people in a raid. I got into a customs raid. I was all alone. There were no other PMCs. I was running around. I didn't hear a single shot. I was trying to stay in raid as long as possible because everyone was getting errors. Everyone was getting their accounts wiped and stuff like that. And then while I was in raid, I'm pretty sure people were like, they just tweeted that they're extending the downtime. Like, how are you in raid? And so somehow I snuck into a raid and I was just like running around when the game was still down somehow. And I died to a scav. Literally a scav one-tapped me. I was going to try and milk that, bro. I was going to be in that raid till 3 seconds left. And a scav one-tapped me, which is very classic. And then as soon as I died, my game crashed. And then we were back at the menu. So
that's actually kind of interesting how like the thought of if I get out of this raid, I like can't play anymore, so I need to like extend it.
Yeah,
makes like, in my opinion, almost like makes the raid more interesting.
Oh yeah, like, there was no other people in it as far as I could tell though, so that was weird. And then
but you get infinite loot and infinite time.
Yeah,
and yeah.
So it was. So then the game went back down for another, I think, 3 hours because it's supposed to be up at like 8. And it came up at like 11:30. And yeah, so it was wild. And so we were just vibing with, I don't know if were you there when Nikita was telling us about his new Spotify project, his like music Pete's After Sex. And so we just spent like 2 hours vibing to Pete's After Sex while we were waiting for the patch to come back up. We played a little bit of Arena, but since the patch came back up, and it's got some interesting stuff in it. So first of all, they closed down the marathon mode thing and assimilated that into just regular Tarkov, which I had a lot of questions about that. So the transitions are now in every raid and in PvE mode, which is cool. And the transition between locations are now available for player scavs. So player scavs can transition from map to map. And I have a thought about that. Don't let me forget. And then they added a bunch of new transits. So like I had kind of described before, the old way, the marathon mode, you start on ground zero and then there's one direction you can go. Ground zero to streets, streets to labs, but then labs back to streets, streets to interchange, interchange to customs, I think, customs to factory to woods to reserve to lighthouse to shoreline. Yeah. So that was the one direction you could go. But now they've opened up a bunch. So you can go from streets back to ground zero. You can go from interchange back to streets. You go from customs to reserve, customs to interchange, from factory to customs, factory to... So they added a ton more. And let me actually see, because Reverse sent me, it was like a map at some point. Yes. So like, I'm going to put this in our Discord so you can get a good idea. So it's like a really interesting... No, not that one. This one.
Not the feed pics.
Not the feed pics. It's probably going to be a JFIF again. So,
what the fuck?
So all these lines are both directions now. And so basically you can go from any given map, you can go to somewhere between 2 and 3 other maps on any given raid. And since it used to be only one direction, but now you can go both directions, the big kind of takeaway here is theoretically you could be in raid forever now.
Yeah.
Because it used to be like when the marathon mode was going on, the longest you could be in raid, quote unquote, was the amount of time it took you to get from ground zero to shoreline. Because once you got to shoreline, there was no map to map, you had to just extract at the end of the raid. But now that all of them go both ways, and now that a bunch of them you can go to like a bunch of different maps, theoretically, you could just never leave. You could just spend your whole day transitioning from map to map. Every single time you transition, you're given the opportunity to depot a little bit of gear. I still have thoughts about that. I think you should be able to depot more gear, and I think it should be free because that's the incentive to not just go back to your stash and depot it. You know what I mean? Like, you still have to pay to depot gear, which is a little weird. But that's just kind of a pretty cool thought. You know what I mean? That you could just like that's got Smoke's name written all over it. You know what I mean? Just like never leaving, like never going back to the stash. Like, that'd be sick.
Although, when you want to be done for the day, you have to
at that point, you exfil. Yeah, you
can't like go to bed.
No, you can't like fashion yourself a cot or something. But like, dude, the 0 to heroes that are going to come out of this are going to be crazy. You know what I mean? Like that could potentially just be like what I do from now on, is just like hop in with nothing and see how far you can get. And you can start anywhere you want now. You used to have to start on ground zero, which was toxic because everybody would just camp that exfil because everyone that's playing marathon mode has to start there. So it's like, by interchange, you're like, is anybody really doing marathon mode? But now it's not marathon mode. So it used to be you had to queue in marathon mode, but then it would put you in regular raids, but only you, the person that queued into the marathon mode, could use the map-to-map travel. Now, every raid, every person has all of the extracts available, including the marathon extracts. So it's much more like, so basically there's like 3 extra extracts on every map. Now, that take you to another map, but it's just super interesting. Like, I'm really interested to see how this affects the game. Now, the question I keep getting asked is, what's the point? And it's funny because there isn't really an answer to that outside of wanting to set a challenge for yourself. Because literally everything I said before the marathon mode came out, before this wipe even, was like, why would I do that over just extracting and then queuing the next map? Why would I pay to depot gear when I can do it for free? All of those questions are still valid questions. There isn't really a point to it outside of like, if you wanted to play Tarkov like it was a survival game, you now can, which I think is cool. I don't think it detracts. Like, here's the thing. It doesn't seem like there's an overwhelming point to do it, but I also don't think it detracts from the regular experience in any way. So I'm for it and hope that they maybe like expand it out a little bit. Like an easy one, like Reverse in chat's even saying it's been talking about a lot. Like an easy one would be like an XP bonus for each additional map you travel to. You know what I mean? Like some sort of incentive to participate in the game this way that you're not required to do. There is a multiplier in the game. Oh, that's sick. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so I mean, like fundamentally, what we're talking about is not really different than the quote unquote the game right now, right? Like what we're talking about is you do a raid. Right now, you do a raid, you exfil, you dump your gear, and then you pick another map. This just streamlines that process, but you kind of can't diminish the value in that.
Like in just the ability to do it, to just like
like that's more significant. 100%. It's more significant 100%. Than I think it sounds, right? It's not just Tarkov with less loading time.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not even have less loading time.
It doesn't have less loading time. It's Tarkov with less stash time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm struggling to articulate how this is like incredible, game changing, whatever. Maybe it's not, but I still think that. I think it's something about it that tells me it's like this is a good thing.
For sure. I'm fully with you. I'm just saying that like there isn't like what you give up is the ability to heal, repair your armor, potentially swap to a better armor, turn in a quest, accept a new quest, refill, your consume, like that's what you're giving up. Now, I'm basically with you 100%. This is like it's like the most low key, super significant change to the game because it does alter how you can play it. It opens up a whole lot of things. There's just not a whole lot of like in raid mechanics yet that incentivize you to do it over the old way of playing the game. But yet is a key word here, right? Because like there absolutely could be, like they could be doing this the right way, which is they've got a plan, a 5-point plan, and they're doing it one at a time to make sure it doesn't break anything. You know what I mean? Like that a year from now, I could be like, oh my God, they had the 5-head strat. Or a year from now, I could be like, damn, they missed this opportunity. This could be so cool and they're not doing anything. It's hard to tell. But I was really wondering after the marathon mode if they were just going to do it, if they were just going to basically push that to live, or if they were going to make all the transits reversible as well. And then they did that and more. They added like now you can go to like 3 maps at any given time. So they did more than I thought they were going to do when that happened. This could be like the first step. You know how they've physicalized a lot of the traders in the past? We've seen like proper, like, you know what I mean? This could be the first step in that, where they physicalize it, where you can go map to map. Maybe there's a new trader that's only accessible in maps, you know what I mean? Or something. It just, who knows? I don't want to huff the copium too much. I just think that it is hard to articulate how cool and how big of a deal it is. But we've been so like, kind of just like we've worn this path down so deep to just play the game the one way. It's almost hard to imagine playing it a different way. But I think that will soften over time as people like try it and do fun stuff with it.
That's just it. So what it enables to me is the significance is the immersion.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah.
Even with a loading screen, it's not the same. Like it never feels like you are doing a continuation of anything.
Yeah.
Every raid is its own standalone thing.
Yeah.
There's something about this, even if it's completely quote unquote fake and it's just a loading screen and a temporary stash in between without in the map selection isn't the menu anymore. Now it's, you have to go to a place. I still think that's like significant enough that the immersion factor is relevant. And if you think about what you were talking about, the way that like Smoke plays, right? He's playing the game in a way that like isn't a part of the game, quote unquote. Yeah. It's not the quote unquote intended. They're not, like he made a way to play the game.
Yeah.
And that was like an immersive, slow, methodical. He creates his own kind of mission. And what this does is it just allows for that kind of thing.
Yeah. For sure.
But to a much larger degree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's pretty neat.
For sure. And really fascinating that scavs can take those extracts as well.
Yeah, people were saying that.
You
so
could
you can
just
do a long scav run.
You could just like live as a scav for a few hours. You know what I mean? Which I know like, so there's a section of the community that gets so weird about that. At least once a week, like I'm playing with Ham, I die off spawn, he's got the whole raid to play. I hop into a scav raid and somebody comes in and they're like, dude, level 52 and you're scavving, bro? And they're like so offended. It's so weird. I think scavving is like, yeah, you have 200 mil and you're scavving. It's like, bro, scavving it's more than that, okay? It's a way of life.
I never scavved because I needed to. It was
always
scavving. It's
just a fun way to play the game.
Yeah, it's a different way.
Yeah.
A different way to play.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the interesting thing. Because I've also talked shit about scavving. Not people who scav or the reasons that they scav, but how OP scavving has become. And it's funny because I have advocated for many times on the podcast, I wish you couldn't choose what map you play when you're a scav. And Nikita said before the patch 15 wipe, that was going to be implemented. but it hasn't been implemented yet.
This kind of does that.
And that's what I'm saying.
Controls.
What if they do that now? Where it's like they remove, so when you click scab, it puts you somewhere random, but you can get to any map you wanted to go to.
Yeah, I like that way better.
I was like, oh, maybe they're ahead of me. Maybe they just forgot and they're actually never going to add that feature. But maybe they're like, that's what they're going to do. And I was like, so, okay, you wanted to scab Lighthouse or whatever. And if it puts you on Shoreline, you're right there. If it puts you on, where's the freaking map? I don't know. If it puts you on Reserve, you can get to Lighthouse. If it puts you on Woods, you can get to Lighthouse. So I was like, oh, shoot, that's actually super fascinating that could be the precursor to that. And then we could theory craft forever about all the different potential things that they could do to, once again, just kind of add onto this. Like Reverse just sent me a DM. Apparently it is a thing where you get an XP bonus. You get an incremental XP bonus for 17 raids. At the 17th raid, that's when you stop getting an additional XP bonus. It ends up at 5x. If you're on your 17th raid in a row without going back, you're at 5x XP. That's crazy. So that's cool. Like, that's an incentive I didn't even know was in the game.
Yeah, but
why even have a cap? It's not a cap for raids. It's a cap for when you stop increasing the amount of XP you're going to get. So every raid after 17, it's going to be 5x XP.
Maybe this is a dumb question, but does anyone have a chance of surviving 17 raids?
No, not frequently, but no. I'm saying I'm glad that
I remember my survival, my max survival back in like 0.8. I had 36, No, but
that's what I'm saying is that.
But I never survived more than 3 as of last year.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying it's good that they put it at 17, because if they put it at 4, like that would be there would be a meta number of raids. Just get out on your 4th one, because who cares? But now it's like 17 is so high, there's always a like, can I get one more? Can I get one more? Right? So I'm just would have rather than put it higher than lower. And so 7.
I mean, even if it didn't go up though, like even if it was 4,
yeah,
it's still
at that point, 1.75 raid, yeah.
It's still, if it's times 2 or times 3, and then you do again and again and again, you want to keep the streak, because the streak, you're still maintaining the multiplier.
For sure.
So like, I just wonder if it's like 17, like how many people these days are getting 17?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see. I'm excited to see. And bro, I'm excited to see how this changes how some people play. Because like, you know how everybody plays completely different when they're doing the guide? You know what I mean? It's like skirt the edge of the map. Like I'm just excited for the YouTube video. Like, you know what I mean? I'm excited for the YouTube video. I survived 32 raids, and it's like, I don't know. I just think that's going to be sick. So I've always said more things for people to be doing in the raid is better for the game. I don't know that I'll spend a lot of my time trying to get 17 survive streaks, but I think the more things you give for people to do inside of a raid, so like everything you want to do in Tarkov is outside of a raid. Ultimately, like you want to go in and find the Letics so you can turn it in outside the raid. You want to go in and kill Killa so that you can turn in his helmet outside of the raid. Like it all ends there. And so more things where the incentive is the thing I actually want to do is in the game. And this is one of them, which is like, how long can I stay in the game? Even if you're like, not you, Veritas, but like, even if you, the listener, aren't that excited about it, I just think it creates a little bit more of a dynamic experience. I'm not saying that tens of thousands of people are going to be doing this immediately, but just interesting, just a little change up. And it's cool. That's a good point. Somebody put it in chat. A lot of the and this is like a design thing that needs to change. A lot of the extracts, a lot of the transit extracts, some of them overlap with other extracts. So for example, to get from Woods to wherever the hell you go from Woods, it's the RUAF extract, the truck up in the corner that has the green smoke sometimes. That's where the transit to the next map is. And then also that extract is there sometimes. If that extract is there and you were going to extract there to get back to your stash, but you accidentally hit F, which means you interact with the map-to-map travel extract, you're cooked. Because once you hit F on the map-to-map travel extract, it closes down every other extract on that map. You now have to take that extract. And so because some of them are, and it's woods to factory. No, factory is before woods. Anyways, it's just interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's pretty cool. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what comes out of that. We'll see what other like ideas, like once again, lots of theory crafting, in-raid traders, XP bonuses, which is potentially them changing scavs now that you can go scav map to map. I'm like interested to watch as some of the Tarkov community maybe tries to like break it or tries to like see how far they can take it. And I feel like some cool stuff. Is going to come out of that for sure. Now, before we move on, because the next feature I'm very excited to tell you about and hear your thoughts about. So before we dive into that conversation, I do want to take a quick second and thank the second sponsor for this episode, and that is the Dollar Shave Club. Yes, it is finally happening. The Bearded Men. We are now sponsored by a shave company, and I couldn't be more excited. Dollar Shave Company is sick. Whether you're going smooth shaven or maintaining a beard, Dollar Shave Club offers grooming products that are always high quality, but never overpriced. So they've got their kind of like tentpole products, wet shave and dry shave. You know what I mean? So their Club Series razor, they've got like the diamond grip handle. That's the one that they sent us. I used it the other day because I still line up the neck and up here quite a bit with like a razor, and it's really nice. It's really easy to keep a hold of. They've got the whole line of products, the shave butter, the post shave, like aftershave dew. It all smells amazing. It all feels good. The razor was super easy to like, really ergonomic. It was great. It's awesome.
Bro, the timing on this was incredible because there's been two things that I've been wanting to swap out badly. One, I had a terrible nose trimmer. Okay, let me tell you, this thing was like straight up like weed whacker before, like terrible. And the new one from Dollar Shave Club, oh my God. Yeah, it's just nice to have a nice and smooth little shave in there. If you've never shaved or you know what I mean, trimmed inside your nose, it's next level. Trust me, you'll feel so nice.
It's
so
worth
fresh.
it. It's worth it.
And then the other one is deodorant, because the deodorant they like changed the deodorant I used to. They like changed the formula, and now when I put my shirts in the wash, it ends up like it's like clay. Like all of a sudden, it just like hardens on my shirt, got ruined. So I'm like, I've been looking for something, and I don't like the real like thin kind of gel stuff. Yeah. And the one that they that I have from them, first of all, it smells unbelievably good. Which, like we've talked about other stuff before, that it smelling good is just so underrated.
Wonderful. Yep.
Especially when you're like sitting in your own filth and you're stink, by yourself as a gamer. But yeah, it's like it's just wonderful. And I haven't had any of those problems. The wife just did the laundry for the first time since I got back from vacation, and I checked my shirts. I'm like, oh baby,
dude, 100%. And yeah, it's just like the whole shaving experience with them is great. Their shave butter is like translucent. It's not just like a white foam. So I can't tell you how many times I've been shaving and gone too high because you can't really see where you're shaving. So it's designed so you can see where you're shaving. The post-shave dew is really great at hydrating the skin. And then, so that's their like razor, but then they also have the dry shave, the double header electric trimming, divide and conquer. Trimming your balls and beards with the same trimmer is gross, but the double header has two completely interchangeable heads, one for beard, one for balls. You got everything that you need covered. They had the nose trimmer as well. It's detail precision trimmer for every little hair. So it's like, it's nice. Once again, this one also very ergonomic, great for the dry shave, keeping the beard tight. And then, like you said, beyond just the razor and the electric trimmer, they've got a ton of other products. They've got wipes, they've got the deodorant, they've got all sorts of stuff. So it's I was so excited. Finally, I'm super excited about this. But you can try it for yourself. You can visit dollarshaveclub.com right now for 20% off. $20 or more and get your products delivered right to your door, visit dollarshaveclub.com/Pogcast and use promo code Pogcast for 20% off $20 or more. That is dollarshaveclub.com/Pogcast using promo code Pogcast for 20% off $20 or more. So thank you so much to Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring this episode.
We're very ball friendly today. Very
ball friendly.
Be friendly to your balls, chat.
Yeah, they will thank you. Okay, so the next thing, and this is kind of like what the patch was about, actually, is mortar strikes are now in the game. Okay? At any given time, I haven't played much, at any given place, mortars will fall from the sky and kill you. And that's a thing now. So, in the patch notes, locals have found a stockpile of mortars that are now regularly shelling the open terrain from safe positions. Mortar fire is on Customs, Woods, Shoreline, and Reserve. Only those 4 maps. Scavs bosses and other bots react appropriately when the mortar strike starts. There's a new task line and a new in-game event around this feature. Players will be able to obtain unique rewards. There's a special piece of equipment that warns about the start of mortar fire in advance to help avoid dangerous areas. There's a special consumable item that initiates mortar fire on the player's location. And there's an achievement for doing the quests. So, this is, pretty much exactly what you think it is. So that when I hopped into a raid, the in-game event is that now apparently they changed it today or yesterday, but the in-game event is just that like 3 minutes into a raid, if you're on one of those 4 maps, mortar strikes start and they just never stop. Like the event is they're just mortar striking the map. It lasts about like 60 to 90 seconds. And then there's like 60 seconds, a minute or two off. And then it starts again. And it's another mortar strike. And it was just like, the event is that they're just doing it nonstop. The first quest in the quest chain is called Into the Inferno. And it's just run into the mortar strike. Like you don't necessarily have to die, but you have to run into the place that's getting mortar struck. And that's how you complete the first quest. So, and then another part of the event. So there's a bunch of, I don't know. I don't think these quests are going to stay. I think they're just for the event. But on any one of these maps, Customs, Reserve, Shoreline, Woods, that the mortar strikes are happening, special airdrops are dropping these giant crates. They're 3x3 crates, and it drops 6 of them. You need 2 of them for a quest. You need 1 of them for a quest later, and then you need 25 of them for a much later quest because Lamau. But so basically what I'm saying is you take standard Tarkov audio, and now there's just mortar strikes happening constantly and airdrops happening constantly. And dude, it is
on the bright side,
pain.
you won't be able to hear all the sounds that you wouldn't be able to hear.
Yeah.
You now, at least now you can just turn the sound down, turn the music up and enjoy yourself.
I died, dude. I mauled it a little bit. I was on Shoreline and we were like trying to get the airdrop to get the things, and the goons were on Shoreline and they killed Valiant, and I was like fighting them, and I killed Knight, and I was running up, and dude, it was like everything that could happen happened. It was like the goons are yelling and they're running around. AI scavs were running up too, and I was kind of in cover, so like every time I would hear something run up, I would think it was a goon, but it would be an AI scav. There was a mortar strike happening at Resort, so I just couldn't hear anything, and an airdrop was flying overhead, and dropping the thing. And then Big Pipe swung me. I hit him 11 times with 5.5A1. He had no aim punch. I was getting aim punched and I died. And it was just like, it's just a cacophony of audio cues. It's just people running, people talking, scavs talking, airdrops dropping, mortar strikes happening. Dude, it was crazy. And I think the feedback was so much that, like, you know how they always tweet those like images and it's like a paper or something in Russian and it's like super in lore, but they did that. It was like a new version of the event and the paper just translated to like, for the love of Christ, stop airdropping so much, mortar striking so much. Like in lore, they were like, chill. And so apparently it's happening less frequently now. I didn't get to play all yesterday because I didn't have power, but bro, it is crazy. It is crazy, dude. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Because it just feels like one of those things where, like, in theory, it's so cool. Like when you're in, you know, when you're just like shooting the shit with your homies, like, dude, wouldn't it be sick if there was like just every once in a while, like a mortar strike came or whatever. But so in that sense, outside of him happening too frequently for the event, it is executed well. Like the audio cues are cool. You got like the whistle of the mortars coming in and they blow up and it's kind of cool. But like just in practice, with the amount of things we already die to that's out of your control.
Yeah.
That happening, I don't like. There isn't like, there doesn't seem as of yet to be a reason. You know what I mean? It's not like connected to a specific boss. It's not like, I guess my question is just why, you know what I mean?
You know why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Tarkov's not meant to be fun.
Tarkov is not meant to be fun. But, oh, and then a few other little tidbits I got to get off my chest. One, the device you get, you only have to complete the first quest to get the device that warns you about the airdrop. And basically, if you have that in your special slot, right before an mortar strike happens, in the bottom right of your screen, it'll say, warning, mortar strike about to commence at, and it'll give you a location. So on Shoreline, it'll be like at the resort, or on customs, it'll say at the bridge. So it does give you a little bit of information there. Okay. You've played a lot of customs. Say you spawn at Big Red. Okay, you spawn at Big Red. You cross the main bridge, not the land bridge.
Big Red?
Yeah, but you go across towards construction, the main bridge, right? There's like the 3 land bridges, but we're talking about the bridge with the road and the vehicles.
Yeah, where you get the flash drive in the trunk.
That is where the mortar strike is happening. It says bridge, and they land there.
Hell yeah, if you're on bullshit.
Yes, yeah, screw you. Okay, now let's say you're walking on that bridge. Big Red is behind you, right? You walk, and then there's like the little ice cream shack on your left. You vault over the thing, and then there's that concrete wall, and there's construction, right? The little 2-story construction there right by the pocket watch truck. Okay, So you've crossed the bridge, you've walked over a bunch of grass, you've gone on the other side of a wall. Now you're underneath construction. Me and Berkey were there, and we died to a mortar. But it says the mortar strike happens on the bridge. So I don't know. They're playing fast and loose with definitions of bridge. All I know is that if I was at the bronze pocket watch truck and you asked where I was and I made the call out, I'm at the bridge, I would get flamed for the rest of my life for how poor that call out was. And that was where we were when it died. And the thing tells you, it's like the mortar strike's happening at the bridge. So we were like, oh, we're totally fine.
Listen, scavs also weren't aiming for your legs back in the day but they hit your legs. So
yeah,
maybe they're just
bad aim. I don't know. Yeah. Bad aim. But, and then also it's a nice thing, but it's also kind of toxic, is if you're in the zone where you're about to die, it doesn't tell you this.
AutoZone?
We figured this out. The thing, your special thing vibrates, and they put an iPhone on a glass table and put a shotgun mic up to it and called it. It's vibrate. I swear to God, this is what happened. I was playing with Bearkey. We both heard that. She goes, turn your phone off. I said, that's not mine. That's yours. We blew up to a mortar. It just sounds like the vibration of a phone. And it doesn't tell you that that is the audio it's going to make.
No, it's not sure.
It doesn't tell you that's the audio that it's going to make. And it doesn't tell you that that audio means like you're about to die to him. Now, haha, funny. We learned, right? Well, you never make that mistake again. But it's like, I've already seen people take the thing off and like not use it in raid because they're like, the vibration is so annoying. I'd rather just run. You know what I mean? Like I can tell when one's coming. If you're like running around, it's pretty hard to die. You're normally only going to die to the mortars if you like stand in one spot and just chill there. But dude, I don't know. It just, yeah. I don't know. They're playing fast and loose with like where the places are. Like we died so far away from the bridge when it told us bridge. We didn't know that the thing happened. And so I just struggle to understand the point. Once you get through a certain amount of the quests, you're given 5 blue flares. They're the hand ones that you shoot off. And the blue ones call in a mortar strike to where you shoot the flare off. So you shoot the flare and run away and maybe kill some stuff. I don't think it counts as a kill for you, but that's a thing you can do now if you find a blue flare. So, yeah, that is the mortar strike thing. So yeah, I don't know. I once again, I only got to play with it the one day because I was going to play yesterday and try and do some more of the quests, but I didn't have power all day. But I am unsure. You know what I mean? It's going to be so different when the event ends because I imagine it's just going to be a thing that happens like 1 in every 5 or 6 raids. You know, if you're in it, it happens, and it's just kind of this dynamic thing. I do feel like they maybe put the worst foot forward by being like, what if 11 happened every raid to start it off? You know what I mean? Like, so now I just kind of have this bad taste in my mouth about like what it's going to be. And I don't know.
Fucking yikes.
Yeah.
Dude.
I just don't know that we need more things that can kill us that we can't control. So
yeah,
we'll see. Outside of that, there was like some bug fixes and some little random stuff. So nothing too crazy. But yeah, so before we kind of talk about some of the other stuff on our list, I do want to take a quick second and thank the third and final sponsor for the episode this week, and that is Keeper. Now, Keeper is a software that helps you track your expenses if you are, now I know I have plenty of stories and experience with this, but if you are in any way like a small business owner or a freelancer or something like that, you know how horrendous and how much of a headache it can be to track your expenses. Who wants to do more work on top of work? But keeping track of your business expenses can actually save you a ton of money on your taxes because they're tax deductions. And today's sponsor, Keeper, is a tax app that automates expense tracking, so you don't need to deal with janky Google Sheets. So this is like actually something, if you're, I know it might not be everybody, but if you're a small business owner, this is something that when I got into doing streaming and stuff like that, and it like turned into a job, I guess, and I had to start thinking about that. I just remember the first time I did my taxes and my accountant was like, so did you like, what did you do you have any receipts? Did you do anything? Like, is there any expenses? And I was like, dude, what are you even talking about? So the app is actually super sick. You connect it to either your card or your bank, and it literally just does it all for you as you go. And you can just basically check it, make sure it's categorized everything right. And as it does it, it just kind of basically shows you a live update of like throughout the year as you're doing it. Like, this is kind of how many total deductions. This is how much we think it's going to save you, that and the other. And then you can actually, it's kind of You can actually file your taxes through them as well. It's literally just 3 steps. Connect your bank, upload your tax forms, and then the Keeper AI thing just prepares it all for you. And so if you're somebody that is in this world and has struggled with it, but at the same time, you just see all these TikToks about these business guys saying you're supposed to maximize and optimize all these, this, that, and the other, and it gets overwhelming like it has been for me, Keeper can be a pretty cool option. So you can utilize the power of AI to automate your expense tracking, find tax deductions, and get a way bigger tax refund next year. For a limited time only, our listeners can try Keeper for free with our exclusive link at keepertax.com/Pogcast and get 10% off your subscription if you love it. That is a free trial plus 10% off your subscription at keepertax.com/Pogcast. Thank you so much to Keeper for sponsoring this episode.
Boom.
Boom, baby.
I held in a sneeze that entire ad read. I held in a sneeze, and then once we got right to the end, it went away.
It's gone. That's what a weird feeling. What a weird feeling that is. But yeah, so that's kind of the Tarkov stuff. Once again, we'll see how she goes. I don't know. We can hold on. Last Tarkov thing. Let me just.
Oh, there's one more.
I mean, unless you had something pressing.
Nothing pressing. A couple of little things worth mentioning, but
yeah, just real quick before we hop off the Tarkov stuff. Let me just see if there's anything worth calling out that was on the roadmap, because roadmaps are always fun. This downloaded in a JFIF again.
Oh, is that the thing that? Is that included in the thing with the high value content or whatever the fuck?
Yes, patch 16.0. We are getting new high end content.
Yeah, I photoshopped on the couch right before we left.
Yeah.
I had the idea, and in about 30 seconds, I photoshopped and one of the armors that like was announced to be added in like 1997 to Tarkov, but never has been. I just put the Supreme logo on the fucking where the. Oh God,
dude.
Yeah.
High end content, but
and also let it be known. I need to make it clear that in good faith, because I didn't want Nikita to be mad at me. I held off on tweeting the photo.
Oh my God.
The photo that I wanted so bad to tweet, and I knew Nikita wasn't gonna like it very much, but I have to say it out loud now here because
this is what you get on the podcast.
It's too good of a meme. There's a place that we walked by like 50 times by TwitchCon. It was a restaurant that I kept pointing to, and I'm like, yo, that's sick. Like BSG has a headquarters like for their fucking servers here. And the sign says the old spaghetti factory. Oh, you guys will feel I wanted to tweet out the photo.
Oh my God.
And be like, oh shit, yo, that's where they keep the Tarkov code.
Head down to the old spaghetti factory.
But in good faith, I didn't tweet it. Okay, I didn't tweet it.
I would never tweet something like that.
My jokes are the best. Everyone says my jokes are the best. I walked in here. I was going to tell a joke. They said it was going to be the best joke. I said, I'm not really sure, but I didn't. So I didn't tweet it. Okay. I didn't tweet it.
So there were some interesting just things to pull. We're not going to talk about everything, but obviously the new map is coming to Arena. In 15 point, this is all supposed to happen before the end of the year. Lamau. But just for context, interacting with your stash and hideout while matching is supposed to come in the next update.
Yeah, dude. If only. That's like one of the most massive changes ever that would have saved me. Honestly, if that was in the game in 2018, I might still be playing the game now, just because my patience wouldn't have run so dry every day for hours a day, over and over and over for thousands and thousands of hours. I would have been run thin a lot slower.
The average organization of stashes is going to skyrocket, dude. It's going to be so clutch. Now, my question is, what does that mean when you're matching from a map to map thing? Right?
Probably nothing.
The ability to lock items in the stash, meaning they will be unaffected by auto sort. Also, clutch AF, auto sort will actually be viable. Sound engine improvements. Yep. AI behavior adjustments.
Anyway,
and it's gone. And then in some arena patches, we're getting some ranked calibration system. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that just means they're messing with like the ranked, like the ARP and stuff like that. Interesting. Molotov cocktail coming to arena before Tarkov. Actual no mention of Molotov cocktail coming to Tarkov at all. One would just assume that it would if it's coming in arena. So that's fascinating. Yep. Then the next arena patch, we're getting a battle pass and we're getting a ranked season system.
Wait, battle pass?
A battle pass. If I can't do the Carlton in arena by the end of the year, we riot. I'm actually kind of not mad about.
I'm okay with, honestly, I'm okay with battle passes. They don't bother me.
Yeah, like I'm interested. I'm interested to see how it's going to go. Like, how are they going to do it? Is it going to be like paid tiers and unpaid tiers, or is it just going to be like a season of rewards? The higher level you get, are we getting anime skins, or is it like cosmetics, or clothes and stuff like that? Is there anything I can get in the battle pass that I can then take to Tarkov? Like, I feel like that's going to be a thing. Maybe there's like clothes that you can then unlock and then wear in your Tarkov raids in addition to your arena raids. Interesting. But that's happening. And then another new location before the end of the year. Also, another game mode is coming to arena. And I think it's like a domination style mode, I think is what they said.
It's the worst kind of game mode.
I don't know because wouldn't that have to be another respawn mode? And I feel like I want more of that in arena. Right.
I mean, maybe. I just can't stand the A, B, C because it's just.
I mean, that's
hate
fair.
The game mode. Because now maybe it's better with teams or whatever. But I've always played like whether it was Battlefield or Call of Duty or whatever. It's always just you run to A, you cap A, everybody runs to B, and they cap B. You're like, fuck. And then everybody runs from A to go cap B while the enemies run to A and cap. And it's just like, so what? I just end up running around and playing it like a team deathmatch. And the ABC is a complete and utter waste of like time.
That's true. Now, I feel like that'll be interesting in like Battlefield or the big team stuff. I always feel that way. Like when I played even Delta Force, their mode, it's just like, it feels so insignificant. With smaller teams, like if it's 5v5 and maybe it's just an A and a B site, like that could be much more strategic. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely for more respawn modes. Like once again, I've been fully converted to Blast Gang. Like Blast Gang is fun as hell with a team. With a team.
So when are you gonna play CS?
I mean, listen, I'm closer to that now than ever because Blast Gang is actually kind of fun with the team. But yeah, so that'll be interesting because like that's what makes the Last Hero mode so fun is because it's just like you die and you're back in.
Yeah, mindless.
You know what I mean? It's like not even necessarily mindless, just no time wasted versus in a team fight or in a Blast Gang you die and you just gonna have to sit there and wait for your team to do your thing. So we'll see. And then last 16.0, which is what we're all assuming is going to be the December wipe. They're going to move seasons. There's new high-end content, quality of life improvements, more sound engine improvements, game client performance optimization, expansions to interactive location mechanics. So that's vague, but maybe that means the map-to-map stuff. So a lot more stuff than I anticipated coming this year. Like, yeah, more stuff coming in the next 2.5 months than came from December to August. So I don't know. We'll see. They're obviously on their sprint towards 1.0. We'll see how much of it makes it into the game, but it looks pretty cool. But yeah, that's the Tarkov stuff. Any other games you're playing? Any other things? I know you've been. Well, what have you been doing now? You haven't. Well, I know you're working on the Karen Reed thing, but what have you been watching now? Every time I pop in.
I'm like out of stuff to watch. I'm taking a break from the. I watched the trial like 3 times, and I'm like trying to take a mental break from like consuming more content related to the trial.
Understandable.
I've seen it all, and after this, it's just like random people's podcasts, and like the news is just so boring and bland, and whatever. So, today I was just watching, getting caught up on the audit.
Oh yeah, okay.
That I've missed because I've been a little bit out of the loop with the audit stuff, because that's always fun watching people get like tased and like grandmas run from cops and stuff. It's basically like cops, except in the middle you get actual like constitutional legal education, and then at the end the bad cops get like graded, and the citizens, bad cops and like everyone gets a grade. So at the end they're like, this cop gets an F, this citizen gets an F,
it's like
this cop gets an A+.
Honors cops, AP cops. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like some education in there as well.
Yeah, so it's a top quality, high quality channel. Everyone should check out. Speaking of top quality channel, high quality channel, check out. We talked about Jeffy sometime in the last year. He made that video that was like incredible. The fucking like, where did the skull trumpet come from or whatever? I forget. It's a video worth watching. He just released a video. Someone you might know may or may not have a cameo in the video. Just saying.
What?
But it's about, you ever go to the eye doctors and you have to go up to the machine, the one that does like the pressure test on your eye, does a little focus thing, and you like look through and see the little hot air balloon in the distance.
I hate that one.
I hate it too. He explains what that image is, where that picture came from, what is that? And it's actually kind of an interesting story.
Dang, bro.
It's a great video.
Oh my god, that's so exciting.
Yeah, no. I love his videos, dude. They're just so good.
Dude, no one knows who created Skull Trumpet until now. What a banger.
Yeah, dude.
What a banger. That was the one where you were like, I cried. And that, now dude. You go into the video and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to cry. And I cried.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. But I've only streamed twice since we've been back, because I was on vacation with Meg, and then I came back for like a day and a half, and then we went to San Diego, and then I came back, and it was like I had a red eye, so I was up all fucking night. And then by the time I got home, it was like 4 a.m, and it's like, well, I don't want to go to sleep. My whole fucking schedule is going to be ruined. So I tried to stay up basically. So I was up for 24 hours. And then the next day, Meg, on a whim, bought tickets to go see Indiana play Connecticut Sun, the WNBA.
Oh, I saw you tweet the picture of Caitlin Clark. I didn't know you were at the game. That's cool.
Yeah, because she Meg used to play basketball, and she's a fan of Caitlin Clark. And it's funny how much it's wild how much drama and shit.
Oh yeah.
There is around that dude. Dude, people hate her.
I know,
man.
It's wild.
They hate her, and of course, I show up there, and I'm all for. I just like that she's talented and kind of that she's talented and hated. I'm like, yeah, she must be doing something right.
Yeah.
So I'm just there to enjoy the game. I don't really give a fuck who wins or not. Whatever. But let me tell you, we were just surrounded by the worst kinds of that these moms have kids that play basketball, and they're like, let's go, son, fucking over and over and over, and clapping right in my ear, and just every time she gets the ball, and it's like, God fucking damn it, dude. At one point she fucking turns to someone in the audience and goes, shut the fuck up. Apparently there was
Jeez.
some guy that was just incessantly fucking screaming, dude. Screaming.
Dude.
And he was probably fucked up stuff. And so at some point she turned and said, "Shut the fuck up." And she looked at like the ref or one of the security people. She's like, "Get him out of here." And they like took him off to the side and talked to him and probably said, "Shut the fuck up." And then he sat back down. I was like, God damn,
dude.
God damn. It was
What?
savage.
That's
And
crazy.
The only redeeming thing of the whole thing is that there was this little old lady that had all Sun merch on, and she was there, and she like turned to me and my wife, and she's like, "I like Indiana too." And she's just cute little old lady, and she's like, "I don't really care." She's like, "This is fine." So I was like, "Thank you." So she was literally every time everyone would score, she would just be like,
Oh
like,
my
yes,
God. Yes,
yes,
you get it. We're just here to have a good time. You get it.
"Fucking God, dude." It
Yeah.
was sad though that they lost, so they're done. It was crazy, like looking at the scoreboard and seeing like the two different kinds of teams. There were obviously some like her team had some good players, but you look at the scores per player, and it was like looking at the Sun. It was like the points per player was like 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, and then fucking Indiana was like 20, 12, 6, 0, 3. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh man, rough, dude.
Yeah,
rough.
that like I'm not even into sports that much, but all that when it happened bubbled up into my feeds and stuff like that. And it just gets crazy, man. It gets mad weird. But
Yeah,
I don't know. That's cool. Wait, so
I never would have. I mean, like honestly, everyone in the WNBA should just fucking love her because nobody, like, I say nobody. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but at least me wouldn't give a single fuck about the WNBA ever.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for like her bringing
For sure.
like some amount of attention, like, oh, okay, this is a lot more interesting than I thought.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, I don't know. It definitely,
know.
yeah, it definitely got weird. What
I feel like there's
is it the
some elements of
Boston
like,
Suns?
no, Connecticut. So we drove down to Mohegan Sun.
Okay. Because I know in the NBA it's the Phoenix Suns, and I was like, wait, why were they playing up or near where you are?
So that's the Phoenix Suns. This is so Mohegan Sun is the like big like Indian casino in Connecticut. So they are the Connecticut Sun.
Gotcha.
And also I had to look up because all their shirts and hats said Keesusk. And I was like, what the fuck is Keesusk? Apparently that's like I don't know if it's like Mohegan or whatever.
Oh,
I don't know
gotcha.
the correct word, but it's like the Indian, whatever brand of Native American tribe I associate. I don't know if Mohegan is the thing. I think Mohegan. It's the word for sun in their language, basically.
Gotcha.
I just remember being like, what the fuck is Keesusk? What is Keesusk? Yeah.
That's
but
cool.
yeah, so I think a lot of the drama is, at least what I've heard from like what YouTube shorts have made me believe, without getting into it at all, is that like some of it is jealousy and that she's just like so good.
Yeah.
And then some of it might be there's like some weird kind of discrimination kind of stuff, because I think she's like, I don't know, maybe there just aren't a lot of like straight white chicks in the WNBA.
I don't know.
So there's like some amount of like hate, apparently, maybe because of that. I don't know.
Once again, YouTube Shorts really delivering all my information as well. Yeah. I feel like it's understandable. There's an understandable sentiment that would be like, we've been here the whole time. Like, we've been here trying to play good basketball the whole time. And like, one superstar, and now all of a sudden you guys are interested. And so like, there's definitely an extent of that I could understand. I just would then think you would leverage that for success. You know what I mean? Like, like, you know what I mean?
Now the spotlight's on you. Maybe we should have paid attention before. We didn't, whatever.
It's like,
blame the WNBA for their marketing or something.
Because it's like, I'm just putting myself in their shoes. Like, let's say I was in the WNBA and let's say I thought I was like better than Caitlin Clark and was frustrated that like all this attention was coming to her and all this stardom and whatever. I would feel like it would be doper for you to, instead of me talking shit, being like, she sucks, it would be doper for you to show up to a game where I'm playing her team and I just dominate her. You know what I mean? Just like put it, and then, because isn't that ultimately what you want then you'd be like, well, I came to the WNBA for this star, but I'm learning that these games are electric. Like, she's not even as good as I thought compared to these. Like, that would be the like train of thought I would want the fans to take. You know what I mean? Like, because you show up and you're new, you know what I mean? It's like if I showed up to a D&D thing because of this one friend that got me into the game, and the dungeon master is like, what are you, you're an idiot. We've been here the whole time. You've never, now just because this idiot tells you to come, now you're coming? Like, get the fuck out of here. It's like, I would stay if he was like, welcome, hell yeah, let me, like, this guy sucks, let me show you. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But I'm sure there's more to it than that. Once again, it's just YouTube Shorts delivering my information as well. But I don't know. That's kind of just what I would think I would want if I was in the WNBA.
Yeah, I don't know what the dealio is, but hopefully things, I don't know, smooth out or whatever.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I mean, it's sports, so there's always a whole lot of drama and shit talking and stuff like that, right? That's kind of part of the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
a straight white girl was the GOAT in college and got drafted into a predominantly... Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Maybe. Yeah. Drama. You're now... Okay, so this is a completely separate thing. I was going to say, I hope any of the viewers or the homies that are on the East Coast are doing okay. I know that there's still some people without power. You're East Coast, but like way farther up, did you get any sort of like rain or anything from the storm that came through?
I would not have known anything was happening.
It came so fast and so hard. Like, I've been in Florida like almost my whole life, and so some hurricanes literally just like crawl, and it's like painful to just like wait for it to hit. I feel like it was like, hey, there's a storm coming. The next day, hey, we're canceling school for the kids, and then the next day it was just like powers out. It was crazy, but it came super, and it went super. I know people in North Carolina and in Virginia that got hit. Like, it was moving so fast, and it was like such a big storm that like sometimes they make it all the way up. But yeah, dude, if there's anybody out there that's still freaking without power, I know a bunch of people, especially on the west coast of Florida, got absolutely annihilated. So, oof. It was crazy.
Yeah, I hope everybody's okay. And not too much damage or anything.
It was crazy because like we didn't get like a drop of rain.
Really?
Yeah. It was because
what is the power out from?
The storm hit the west coast of Florida and just kind of went straight up, but we didn't get like any rain at all, but we got wind. It was like there were a few times because like my kids were asleep, my wife was asleep, and I was like up watching TV. There were a few times where I like clenched my jaw. I was like, a window's about to break. Like, I was just like ready for a window to shatter. Like, it was just the wind. It would just like, it's crazy because it would just come in these gusts and you would just hear it. And like, you would hear all the trees outside just freaking out. And I was like, oh, and then it wouldn't happen. And the power like flickered a little bit. And I was like, and then it flickered a little bit. And then it stopped for like 30 minutes. I was like, oh, we're golden. And then just power out, gone, middle of the night. I was like, damn. And then,
oh my God, I just like literally pictured if you had like a big ass tall fence, like maybe a backstop for a baseball, I would like be able to use that as like a horizontal wind tunnel. Like, I just picture like being able to like fly.
Was it I think there was like a clip of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He went outside and like opened up a beer and like tried to dump it in his mouth, and it just went sideways. Like, no beer touched his mouth at all. It was crazy. But yeah, so the wind just knocked down a bunch of trees, and the trees hit the power line. So it was like there was no rain, but we were like, our neighborhood.
Why don't they just ban trees?
Dude, why don't they just ban trees? It's not ban trees, but sometimes I do wonder, like, why are the wires above ground? I mean, maybe I guess it's just easier to infrastructure, but like, I don't know, dude. They're so fragile. They're so fragile up there.
They are, but I remember getting into this when fucking everyone was talking about the next new big thing, the solar roadways. Remember that whole thing? People want to do the solar roadways, which is basically like roads with solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's just so much easier to do shit above ground and more efficient than it is having to dig.
That's fair. I believe it. It's like I hold both of those things. I look at these dangly wires, and every 3 months in Florida, I see a tree smack it and the power goes out to 2,000 people. And I think, why? There's got to be a better way. But I also totally trust that people much smarter than me would have thought if there was a better way, right? It's like, I can't help but look at them and be like, dude, it's 2024. How are these not like vibranium? You know what I mean? And they're not gonna.
You would think that like even then you could have like a fucking like a tube, you know,
something
around it. To not that would probably make a bunch of a tree is going to take out the tube unless you make it giga heavy. Yeah. So I mean, listen, it's honestly it's not that difficult to like fix power lines.
No, like, and that's the thing is like, even though we were about 24 hours without power, we were definitely the worst in our area. And it was because a tree took down like 3 poles, like power poles. And so they had to shut off the road. And I mean, they were out there like 6 a.m. and they worked all day. And then we finally got power back. The kids were asleep. And we moved everyone out into the living room.
You had like a little camping
sesh? We had the little camping sesh, and we like fired up the generator. It was small, so we just were basically trying to save the fridge, and we had a bunch of fans. We had the fans going. So we were all out there, and the kids are asleep, and all the lights in the house turn on. And we were like so happy, but also like, don't wake the kids. My oldest was like, but the youngest was conked out. So, and then it's funny because then, dude, it genuinely takes like 8 hours to cool the house down because it's like 85 degrees in the house everywhere. The attic, like it's just one temperature now, and it takes forever to cool it down because like
multiple floors.
No, but it just once the house has just reached that temperature, it just takes forever to cool it down. And so we actually slumber partied in my office because I have the mini split AC unit. And so I can shut the door to this office and get it to 68 in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? That's what we did. We just all piled in here and slept in the AC, and it was nice. So, but yeah, I mean, and listen, and once again, all we got was wind. So I know the people that I know, homies that have been without power for like 36 hours now. And dude, I hope everyone's all right. It's brutal. It's brutal.
Bro, I literally just noticed this. This is the last thing we can talk about real quick. Unless you've got anything you want to talk about, but I just noticed that there's a promote button under one of my videos. I remember it was like I used to have to go to like Google AdSense, and if I wanted to like run an ad, like my video as an ad. And I remember I did that, and I spent like $200.
Oh yeah,
and I got,
what
like,
video was that?
I don't even remember, dude. This is like 3 years ago,
yeah,
and
I
just noticed that there's a promote button. I'm like tempted.
Which one?
I'm tempted. Probably the.
Oh, I see it too.
Chandler video. I don't know.
Yeah.
I clicked all the way through. $200. Like what? It just says you'll spend an average of $13 per day until your selected end date. So what is that? Just like 12 days. 50, it's like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
usually they're like, we suspect you'll get, like 1,000 views from this. If I could spend $200 to get like 300,000 views, I'll do it. Right?
Yeah.
Not if it's like 800 impressions or something.
No.
I'm tempted.
I mean, it'd be an interesting little thing to just like see kind of reverse engineer what the value is there.
Do I spend $100?
Eat for science.
All right, I just hit promote and there's no confirmation, so I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it.
I'm just doing it now.
Yeah, $100 to promote for the next 2 weeks. Fucking, I'm gonna get, dude. My guess is I'm gonna get like 100 impressions and like 16 views
for $100
For $100.
CPM go crazy.
Fuck me, dude. Holy shit.
But you never know. What if you get 100,000 impressions?
Then I'll
put 16
fucking
views.
Then I'll put like $5,000 fucking dollars Oh, not if I have.
Yeah. But yeah, that is that's the stuff. That's the shenanigans going on this week. We apologize for. We knew we were going to be gone for TwitchCon. We didn't get to do an episode. Then literally, Thursday, I sat down 14 seconds later, Veritas's internet literally just tanks. I was convinced it was my internet because it was just, you were just permanently buffering forever.
I was again convinced it was, every now and then I get these little moments where I'm like, is someone fucking with me?
Yeah, someone in your system, and just once every 6 months they decide to mess with you. So that, and then yesterday we were going to do the podcast and we were without power. So it's seems like it's been a while. So we apologize for that. But back from the con, Storm is gone. Schedule back to normal. PP episode early next week, and this will be posted tomorrow. Sorry for the delay. Now, speaking of the PP, if you want even more content like this and up to an additional episode of the podcast every week, you can head to patreon.com/thepodcastpod, where you can normally get early and ad-free access to these episodes and also an additional episode of the podcast every week. So thank you to our wonderful patrons. Thank you to all of you for being here and for listening and for supporting. Thank you so much to MeUndies and Keeper and Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring the episode. And we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Peace.